H.R. 3289, the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. And I want to say thank you to Congressman Chris Smith for his incredible leadership in introducing this bipartisan legislation and for all of his work on human rights. I also want to thank Chairman Engel and Ranking Member McCall, as well as Chairman Sherman, for their leadership and their support of this bill and bringing it before the House today for consideration. Now, behind me is a photograph taken on Monday night in Hong Kong's Charter Garden. It is estimated that 130,000 people took part in this rally calling on the United States Congress to pass the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. The Hong Kong people need international support, and I'm proud that the United States House of Representatives is standing in solidarity with Hong Kong in their struggle. While the protests were sparked by the extradition bill, the heart of the discontent is that many of Hong Kong's political leaders do not represent the people. Instead, Hong Kong's leaders are beholden to the Chinese government. Millions of Hong Kongers would not have to protest in the streets if they could freely choose their political leaders. Since the 2014 umbrella movement protests, the one country, two systems framework has been rapidly eroding as free expression has been stifled and the space for democratic participation has been restricted. We have seen the prosecution and sentencing of pro-democracy leaders, the disqualification and removal of pro-legislators, the abduction and arbitrary detention of booksellers, and the expelling of a Financial Times journalist. Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy is enshrined in the legally binding 1984 Sino-British Joint Declaration and Hong Kong's Basic Law. The Joint Declaration is an international treaty signed by the Chinese government and guarantees the protection of rights and a separate economic system from mainland China. Now, I believe it is time for the United States to reconsider its policies toward Hong Kong. U.S.-Hong Kong relations are governed by the U.S.-Hong Kong Policy Act of 1992 that commits the United States to treating Hong Kong as a separate customs territory from the rest of China as long as Hong Kong remains sufficiently autonomous. The Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act would require the Secretary of State to certify on an annual basis whether Hong Kong continues to warrant special treatment different from mainland China under U.S. law. It is time we put the Chinese government on annual notice that further erosion of autonomy or a crackdown will cause the city, which serves an important financial haven for wealthy Chinese elites, to lose its special economic, financial, and trade arrangement with the United States. Further, the legislation places sanctions against individuals who violate human rights and states that Hong Kong visa applicants should not be denied entry to the United States based on politically motivated arrests based on their protest activities. And to be clear, we stand together with the people of Hong Kong, and indeed all the people of China, when we express our concerns about the human rights violations of the Hong Kong and Chinese governments. Over the years, Hong Kong has prospered and become the financial center of Asia because of its strong commitment to the rule of law, good governance, human rights, and open economic system. We must use our leverage to help the people of Hong Kong in their struggle to secure a democratic future that protects Hong Kong's autonomy and way of life. I am proud to support this legislation. I urge all my colleagues to support this legislation. I yield back my time.
Gentleman yields back the